Welcome back to the Book of the Nerd. My name is Geo Young, and today we'll be doing a Smash Up review. So let's get started. For my Smash Up reviews, what I'm going to do is take comics that are alike in one way and give you a review of what I think of them so far. On these ones, if the stories are not done, I am not going to give them stars because I don't think it's fair. So I'll just say if I continue the series or not. So for this episode, I would have all single issue comics, all the very first issues, and I'll be saying probably will be continuing them or not. There's only one shot, and that one I will give a stars to because that story was ended. So with that being said, let's start with the very first one. We're going to talk about The Strange Academy #1. So this one you follow the character Emily Bright, and it starts off she is writing a letter to Dr. Strange telling him about her magical abilities, and kind of like she's a little nervous about them, but she's excited and she wants to learn more about it. But her parents are scared. They're worried that if someone finds out that she has them, she could get taken away or something could happen to her. So they want to keep it all hush hush. So then you have through the letter, she shows different events in her life, and I won't tell you what happened, so will be a surprise when you read it. And so eventually she gets a letter, she has someone to come invite her to Strange Academy. And at first her parents are kind of, I don't know, but eventually she gets to go, and it kind of follows her. She goes to Strange Academy, and she meets all the other magical users, first year students, and as they kind of tour the school and get to meet all the other teachers and see their rooms and kind of see who they're going to roommate with, and it was fun. And what's cool about it was you get to see all these little cameos of different magical users in the Marvel Universe, like Loki, Magic, and of course Doctor Strange. This was a fun read. It's definitely geared for young adults, but I do think adults will enjoy this as well. And I am excited to see what happens in the second issue, so I will be picking up issue 2 of Strange Academy. The next one I'm going to talk about is Killing Red Sonja. And if you watched my comic book haul video, you saw that I was super excited about this comic, and I really had this expectation of it being a dark, gritty comic, and lots of intense scenes and actions. As was when I was going in reading it, and well, it wasn't that at all. Definitely the art style is not dark and gritty. It's more lighter, and then there isn't really any Red Sonja appearances at all, except if you count one little dream he had of her. But usually this is just she's not in it at all, and it's following this son of a king. And what happens is his father is killed by Red Sonja in the opposing army. He is tricked by one of his advisors to go actually into battle himself, and then the worst happens and he dies. And they find out that that guy, the advisor, was actually someone who was working for the other kingdom and betrayed them. So the son, it wants vengeance on Sonja and that betrayer. And you follow his beginning of his journey as he gets himself ready to go. The boy doesn't really feel like he's mourning his father. He's more like going through the motions of what he's supposed to do. Like he knows he's supposed to do this. He made this promise to his father, if something happens, that he would get revenge for him. And then there's this talking pig who all he wants to do is eat people. So he's an interesting character. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about him yet. So it definitely was very different than what I thought it was going to be. I'm not sure what I think about it because I really had this totally different expectation. So I will be getting the issue #2 now that I know what to expect, and I'm going to give it another chance and kind of see if I'm going to continue the series or not. The next one I'm going to talk about is Join the Future #1. This was really fun. I like this one. It starts off with like this propaganda from the city, and they're showing all these amenities, all this technology, and how you need to join the future and come live in the city. And then it goes to this family out in the woods hunting, and you have some events happen, and pretty much the father is telling his children that if they go live in the city, that they'll be giving up their freedom, which kind of makes you wonder, like, what is going on in the city here? Like, why would you have to give up your freedom to go live there? And they come back to their town, which is kind of looks like an old Western town. They have wooden buildings, they have campfires, looks like it's in the Old West. And then, which is funny, then you have this, then they had this representative from the city come in with these cars and these fancy suits. So you have the great big, just stark difference between the people who don't want to live in the city that look like cowboy days, and then you have the city people who are dressed up in suits and have cars and stuff. So he's trying to recruit, and of course the town is very unhappy that he's there. And I'll stop there so I won't want to spoil what happens in the comic, but it was really interesting. It definitely adds to the mystery of the city, and I will be picking up number 2. I want to see what happens to our character here and what she does after the events transpired in the end of the comic. And I want to learn more about the city and why is it so bad? Is that propaganda we saw in the beginning of the comic really what's there? I'd be interested to see. And the last one I'll be talking about today is a one-shot called Snow White Zombie Apocalypse. This was fun. Basically, you follow the characters Rapunzel and the prince, her prince. And what happens is all of a sudden there is a zombie outbreak, and they are trying to fight for their survival. And some of our beloved fairy tale characters, like the 7 dwarfs, Red White Hood, the Big Bad Wolf, they're all zombies now, and they have to fight them to survive. And Rapunzel is a pretty tough character, and the prince, he gets distracted very easily, and he has a problem with rescuing damsels, and even if those damsels may be zombies. So Rapunzel has to save him quite a few times in this issue from that bad habit he has. These characters are in love. The prince is distractible, so it's interesting that their relationship is really interesting. So the prince has a habit of rescuing damsels. He sees a woman laid out, fast asleep, and he goes to give her a kiss, and it wakes her up, and it's Snow White, and of course she thinks that this is her Prince Charming, and she's going to marry him, which caused lots of friction between her and Rapunzel, who now just wants to kill her. So Snow White doesn't know what's going on, and she's been asleep for, I think they said 28 days, and she's missed the whole beginning of the zombie apocalypse. And so then we have different events and some really crazy fairy tale characters that are now zombies that they have to fight. Pretty interesting scenes, gory. This was fun. I rated this 3 stars. They do allude that there could be a second issue or more stories with these characters, but it does end at the end. It has a ending to the story, which is the possibilities of even more things that could happen. But this was a fun read. So this was my Smash review. Have you guys read these comics and what do you think about them? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!